How are you doing? You alright?
Yeah, I'm not too bad.
What are you up to?
Can I ask you why you're engaged in me?
Stop there a minute.
Why?
I'm just trying to identify who you are because you've got your face covered and you've... what's your name, please, sir?
I don't have to give you my name.
Okay, well, at this moment in time, we believe that you might well be wanted. Okay. Well, we'll cross that bridge in a minute once we've confirmed it. So that's why we need to identify who you are. It's all right. We'll do it another way. Just bear with us a second.
You start with your first name, please, sir.
I don't believe I have to provide your name.
Okay. Well, I believe that you're wanted, right? Okay. Just by your description alone, right? So I believe that you're wanted off a briefing that I've received today, right? So we can do it one of two ways.
Wanted for what?
Well, wanted for an offence.
What offence?
Well, wanted for an offence of harassment, actually. So I need to check you out in order to see A, if it is you, or B, if it isn't you, right? And if it isn't you, I'll bid you good day and off you go.
From the very first exchange, this officer's approach is already off the rails that he claims the auditor matches the description of a wanted person. But what's that based on? A vague morning briefing. No name, no offense, no actual description, just an assumption and instant pressure. This isn't policing based on evidence. This is fishing with a badge. When the auditor rightly refuses to give his name, the officer doubles down with, "If it's not you, I'll let you go." Let that sink in. That is treating identity like a test you have to pass just to keep your freedom. But here's the truth: in the UK, your rights don't depend on whether you satisfy an officer's hunch. They need reasonable, articulable grounds, not a feeling, not a guess, and definitely not a generic briefing from earlier that morning. This is exactly how innocent people get pulled into systems they never should have been part of. And it's why we need to hold every one of these interactions up to the light.
So if we start with your first name, or are we going to have to get a fingerprint scanner down here and find out who you are, or take you down to custody to try and identify you because you refuse to give me details?
I haven't committed an offence.
Okay, so if you haven't committed any offences, can I start with your first name, please, sir?
I don't need to give you my first name.
Okay, well, I believe you to be Christopher Green, and I'm detaining you currently.
I am not Christopher Green.
Right, okay,
that's fine. You'll be
that's fine,
arrested.
but you're currently being detained up until the point that I can establish who you are. You're refusing to give me some details, so I need to establish who you are.
Please ask you to identify yourself?
Yeah, I'm PC 17768 Neil Williams.
And you, please?
Sergeant 15563.
Thank you.
Right,
which
okay,
station?
Can we make
Western
it nice and easy for us and start giving just the first name, please?
Can I ask you which station you're from?
Yeah, I work at Withenshaw Police Station, work part of the X Department and part of the Transport Unit for Great Manchester Police.
Thank you.
Okay?
Yep.
So we're going to start with your name then, please. And if there's nothing wrong, then we'll send you on your way.
And then, out of nowhere, the officer drops, "I believe you to be Christopher Green." Even after the auditor calmly says, "I'm not." The officer keeps pressing to AT this point. It's crystal clear. This isn't about identifying a wanted person, that it's about controlling a situation where the officer feels challenged. Let's be real. The auditor wasn't evasive, aggressive, or suspicious. That he just refused to give his name without legal grounds. That's not defiance. That's his right. But here's where it gets really alarming. The officer publicly states the full name of someone supposedly being sought: Christopher Green. Under UK law, specifically the Data Protection Act 2018 and UK GDPR, officers are required to handle personal data with care. Naming a person as a suspect without confirmation isn't just reckless, it could be defamatory and legally actionable. If the name Christopher Green has no connection to the auditor, this officer just jeopardized two reputations: the auditor's, by implying someone is not in the real Christopher Green's, if he even exists. This wasn't policing. It was speculative harassment dressed up as procedure.
It's not Christopher Green.
Okay.
100 Alpha.
And what is your name, please? And have you got anything to identify yourself?
I don't believe I have to answer these questions.
Right. You don't believe that you have to right, okay. Well, I believe you to be wanted, right? So make it easy for us. Give us your details, identify yourself, show me some identification.
I don't believe I have to identify myself.
Well, you do.
We could arrest you, take you to custody and put you on a live scan machine. There's a necessity, if you're not giving your name and address, for us to verify who you are if we believe you to be wanted from the information we've got. So you can make it
I don't have to do that. You've not provided me with any grounds for an arrest.
Right, take your hands out your pocket so I can see them. I need to identify you. I'm trying to make it easy for you here, sir. So what I want,
I'm not in any
is,
threat to you.
No,
guys.
no, not at all.
No, I'm not.
You had your hands in your pockets, and I don't know who you are.
Even after detaining someone in public, the officer still hasn't provided any concrete legal grounds, no specific offense, no real description. Just a vague claim that the auditor matches someone from a morning briefing. And when the auditor rightfully presses for the legal basis behind his detention, the officer changes the subject, suddenly focusing on the fact that the auditor has his hands in his pockets. That's not reasonable suspicion. That's a deflection that he knows is on shaky legal ground. So instead of answering, "What offense do you suspect me of?" he invents a new problem. Posture apparently. Standing calmly with your hands in your coat is now suspicious. It gets worse. The officer openly admits again, "I don't know who you are." And that right there is the real issue. That is not detaining someone because they are breaking the law. He's detaining them because he doesn't recognize them. This isn't about justice, that it's about control.
Up until the point that you identify yourself, make it easy for us, and if it isn't you, and I can establish who you are, and I can clearly identify you, then I'll send you on your way. Right, okay. But by you being obstructive at the moment...
I'm not being obstructive.
Well, you are, because you're refusing to provide me some details.
No, because I don't believe lawfully that I have to give you those details because I haven't committed any offence of harassment. I'm sorry.
Right, okay. Well, I believe you to be wanted, so I want you to, I need you to identify yourself in order for me to make those inquiries. And once I make those inquiries and find out that you are either wanted or you're free to go, I will then send you on your way. Okay? Oh, no. Excuse me, I'm speaking.
You've asked me whether I'm Christopher Green, and I've said I'm not Christopher Green.
Right, and all I'll say to you is, identify yourself, because, I'm the police here.
Speak to me respectfully.
I have done, I've tried.
Speak to me respectfully.
What I'll say to you is, you're not going anywhere up until the point that I can clearly identify you, okay?
Right, but please continue to speak to me respectfully. Okay,
so what's your name, please?
To speak to you, always respectfully.
With your name, please?
Throughout the entire encounter, the auditor has been calm, clear, and fully within his rights, simply asserting that he hasn't committed a crime and doesn't have to provide ID without lawful grounds. But instead of responding professionally, the officer snaps, shouting, "No, I'm the police here." As if yelling his title suddenly makes his actions lawful. That outburst isn't just unprofessional. It's revealing the IT shows an officer not in control of the law, just rattled by someone who actually knows it. And when authority figures lose their grip, they fall back on the oldest tactic in the book, aggression. That loud, confrontational posture. It's not about resolving anything, it's about intimidation. Scare first, justify later.
I'm not giving you my name.
Right, have you got any ID on you?
I'm not. I don't have to do this.
The problem is, we suspect you of an offence.
Sorry mate, why do you believe that you don't have to do this?
Because I don't believe I've committed a criminal offence.
Right, okay. Well, then make it easy for me, sir, right?
I don't have to make anything easy for you.
Yeah, you do, unfortunately.
No, I don't.
Why are you being so obstructive? If you're not committed any offence, we can check your details. Then
I don't have to discuss anything with you.
Why are you trying to avoid it?
I'm not trying to avoid anything.
Because it's going to be a long process for you if we have to take you to custody and put you on one of them live scan machines to find out who you are.
Well,
so it sounds straightforward. If you just give us your details, we can check if you want to not. If you're not, absolutely fine, which is what you're saying.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I'm not Christopher Green, and I'm saying I've not committed offensive harassment.
Who are you then?
I've just told you I don't believe that I have to give you that information.
The auditor isn't being difficult, but is calmly asserting a basic right. Not to hand over personal details without clear, lawful grounds. That's not obstruction. That's a citizen exercising the very rights police are sworn to protect. But instead of respecting that, the officer leans into intimidation, threatening a long, unnecessary trip to custody just to force compliance. This isn't justice, it's punishment for non-compliance. And when the officer casually mentions the live scan machine, the message is, "Clear, we'll make your life harder until you give in." That's not policing, that's coercion in uniform. When an officer resorts to threats because someone knows their rights, it's not just a bad look. It's a failure of training, culture, and mindset. Good policing isn't about pressure, it's about principle. And in this moment, that officer proved the auditor's point better than any legal argument ever could.
And if I do, then I can give it to your desk sergeant, or I can give it to a judge.
Please, so I can see exactly who you are.
No.
Right, I'm going to let go of your arm now, yeah? Okay. What I don't want you to do is I don't want you to be putting your hands in your pockets.
Promise
right?
you I won't do that.
Okay, because I need to be
Promise you I won't
satisfied
do that.
that you've
I'm
not
not
got
gonna do
something
that.
that can harm me or anyone else.
I promise you there's nothing in my
Right, okay.
pockets that could harm you.
It is, isn't it? Boss. Boss.
Do you want to go and have a look at that picture?
It is,
So
isn't it?
guys, it looks like I'm going to be arrested here. Could you turn this off?
Right, you're under arrest on suspicion of harassment.
This arrest marked the worst failure yet in a chain of poor decisions. After refusing to provide lawful grounds and repeatedly pressuring the auditor for personal details, the officer resorted to arrest despite no crime, no evidence, and no genuine suspicion that IT was a textbook case of abuse of power. But in the end, justice prevailed. The auditor confirmed that HNK solicitors took on the case, and just weeks ago, he publicly announced he won. That one isn't just personal, it's a powerful reminder that unlawful policing has consequences. What unfolded in this episode was a disturbing collapse of lawful process. Autistic Audit was calmly filming outside the BBC, entirely within his rights, when two officers arrived and immediately escalated the situation, citing only a vague morning briefing. The lead officer demanded the auditor's name, but when he rightly refused, the encounter spiraled, with no evidence, no behavior of concern, just a gut feeling. The officer declared the auditor to be someone named Christopher Green, and then he said the name out loud, a serious breach of data protection, especially without any confirmation. Instead of explaining the legal grounds, they doubled down. The lead officer's aggressive outburst, no, I'm the police here, wasn't about public safety, that IT was about control. The second officer followed up with threats, warning of a long, uncomfortable custody process if the auditor didn't comply, that IT was intimidation. Pure and simple, that a tactic used when officers have no legal ground, only pressure, and eventually, they arrested him. No confirmed ID. No offense, just bad assumptions. But this story didn't end on the pavement, that IT ended in court, and the auditor won. A win for him, and a warning to any officer who thinks authority means acting without consequence. This episode shows exactly what happens when vague suspicion is used as fact, rights are ignored, and force replaces the LAW. IT wastes public trust. It wastes public money, and it never holds up in the courtroom. Officers must remember, authority does not replace accountability, and when they get it wrong, the law is not on their side. It's time this culture changed. And this case is one step closer to that happening. That's it for today's video. If you got value out of this, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps support independent coverage like this. Also, check out Autistic Audit. His channel is linked in the description. Show him some support. He earned it. Thanks for watching. This was Rate the Audit, and I'll see you in the next one.